Pokemon fighting game has been a long time coming. There's no way you can make something with so many recognizable monsters without eventually giving a fighting game a try. Sure, there's some Pokemon in Smash Bros, but to have their own dedicated fighter was something that needed to happen. I mean, the entire franchise is about you making your Pokemon team fight another Pokemon team. Thankfully, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U have properly paved the way for this to actually happen in the form of Pokken Tournament, a one-on-one fighting game starring the Mons themselves and developed by the fighting game gurus at Namco Bandai. Does the Tekken team imbue Pokemon with the will of the Iron Fist, or is the spirit gone soft? Shockingly, Pokken Tournament has a story of sorts. It takes place in the Farum region, and it's mostly just your silent and nothing avatar fighting their way throughout the Farum League to become the champion. It's standard Pokemon stuff just put into a Dead or Alive, Street Fighter, or most importantly, Tekken setup. The league is separated into different league ranks, D to S, and it's your job to rise up through the ranks in each league. The higher your rank, the more battlers participate in each league. Your goal in each league is to get to rank 8 in order to fight in the league tournament. Win the tournament and you become the top of that particular league and are able to challenge a battler that can raise your rank. You can potentially lower your rank by losing too often, and you fight 8 trainers in a row in a league match, so it could happen, but it's always easy to gain your rank back, making progress steady. Other than your standard matches, there's a small side story going on. In Farum, the Farum League is the popular way to play because of an energy called Synergy Energy that allows battlers to synergize with their partner Pokemon, which gives them a burst of strength. Your character showed up at the right time, of course, because things are going wrong with the Synergy Energy. A dark Pokemon is appearing and absorbing all the Synergy Energy in the area and causing trouble. This Pokemon just so happens to be Mewtwo, and it ends up being up to you to stop this from happening. In the end, the story is pretty nothing, but it's a fighting game. A fighting game based off a property that isn't really known for the story in the first place. To start things off gameplay wise, Pokken Tournament's controls are fairly simple. The Y button is your primary way of attacking, the X button is another physical attack, the A button does special attacks, the B button jumps, the R button blocks, the L button summons support Pokemon, pressing L and R together causes you to enter Synergy Burst, Y and B together do throws, and X and A together do critical attacks. Now the gameplay in Pokken Tournament is actually a strange mix of 2D and 3D. You start the battle in a 3D battle, known as Field Phase, and certain attacks will send the battle into Duel Phase. In Field Phase, your attacks are simplified. One button does ranged attacks, one button does physical attacks, and the other attack button does special attacks. In Duel Phase, one button does light attacks, one button does heavy attacks, and the other, again, does special attacks. This dynamic adds something unique to the game, and certain Pokemon are better in certain phases. Field Phase does feel like the most throwaway part of the gameplay, but it still has its moments, while Duel Mode is like a classic fighting game. No matter the phases, there are actions that remain the same no matter what. You can Synergy Burst, you can block, you can summon support Pokemon, you can grab, you can critical hit, and you can jump in any phase. Whether you try to stay in Field or Duel Phase is up to you, and there are different ways to change the phase. A successful grab is the easiest way to change, but you can also change by ending a powerful combo or attack, and you can also sometimes change the phase with a successful critical hit. Another thing to be aware of is the fact that there's a rock, paper, scissors system at play, like is common with fighting games, and it's very vital you learn to use it to your advantage. Normal attacks, Y, X, and A, beat grabs, grabs beat critical hits, and critical hits beat normal attacks. Sometimes this can be frustrating due to a critical hit being broken by a perfectly timed quick jab and getting blasted because your grab went out a little too late, but it's a fun system to learn. There are also burst attacks that require you to be in synergy burst, but it deals tons of damage if it connects, and it looks great. The biggest hurdle to jump, however, is finding which Pokemon you are fit for, much like every other fighting game. Each Poke Fighter is separated into 1 or 4 different classes. Standard, your average everyday fighter that's pretty well balanced. Power, your heavy hitters that are usually on the slow side. Technical, your setup characters that usually require a pro to play. And speed, quick hitters that do little damage in exchange for extreme speed. There are big Pokemon and there are small Pokemon, but thankfully a small Pokemon fighting a large Pokemon rarely has the advantage. Even with the separations, each Pokemon performs differently among their own class. It makes picking your fair Pokemon tricky, but fun at the same time. Some Pokemon seem to have the advantage at first, and some definitely feel like they're at a disadvantage. I'm looking at you, Suicune. But taking control of your situation, not letting up any pressure, will let you have a good time regardless of what Pokemon you pick. Other than the story, this game is only full of the standard modes: Versus, Online, and Training. But you can also customize your avatar and set different roles for your advisor and what supports you want to take into battle. Which brings me to those 2 things I've neglected to mention. Throughout the story, you have a partner that does all the talking for you. Her name is Nia, and between rounds she gives you a bonus that changes depending on what you have set for her to do. As for your support Pokemon, this gauge fills up as you fight, and when it's full you can summon them to do a single action. That action differs depending on what support Pokemon you choose. Support Pokemon are separated into sets of 2, and you unlock more as you play through the story. The actual actions don't differ too much, and you'll find yourself sticking to what works. With all said, the gameplay is simple, while still having a deeper side, and I can say my time fighting in the Farum League was well spent. Pokken Tournament is a mostly attractive game. The stages are bustling with life and the Pokemon models themselves are full of personality and detail. There are plenty of different stages to fight in and each one is pretty and fun. On the Pokemon side, they have never looked better and all the animations and combo strings, especially the burst attacks, are fully realized and fun to watch. The way breaks and hops around during its victory poses and some of its combo strings, and the way Weavile taunts its opponents before and after the battle is something the handheld mainline games were never able to portray, and it's fun to see the Pokemon world in this way. The reason I said mostly, however, is because of 2 standout problems. The characters are just portraits and the god-awful voice acting. The battlers you fight throughout the story mode are just custom characters that were pre-made, and they look just as generic and lame as your avatar does. Nia and the other special story mode characters look fine, mostly, but it's still lame that this is the best we got. You'd think Namco would have learned that doing a story mode this way is disappointing. Still, we at least got a single player story mode, so that's forgivable. As for the voice acting, this is something I rarely complain about. But here I'm really annoyed I decided to play the game in English and not Japanese. 99% of the random voices are lame and phoned in, while the biggest and most prominent one, being Nia, is just god-awful. There are some instances where the actress sounds like she didn't know how the lines was supposed to go, like they were giving her lines to say one word at a time, and other instances where she just didn't know how to portray basic emotions. It's disgusting to say the least, but it thankfully doesn't tarnish the presentation much because it's such a small thing that can be turned off. In the end, Pokken Tournament is a fantastic first attempt at a Pokemon fighting game. It has plenty of diverse Pokemon to choose from, a fun gameplay system, a lengthy story mode, and great presentation. Namco threw all they had at this game, and it shows. If there are ever any more tournaments, and I hope there are, I'd love to see where they take it with new Pokemon. Namco's first attempt at something that should have come sooner is a critical hit. Super effective. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments below? And if you're up to it, why don't you check out one of our other reviews or a Let's Play that's going on. Until next time, see you later.